What's up guys, I've been thinking, since China has pretty much released a bioweapon on us already that's decimated the world, a full-out Fallout universe styled apocalypse isn't too far-fetched. So welcome to episode 3 I believe we're on, of the Survival Loadout series. Today will be Survival Loadout, the Mojave Desert. So if Winnie the Pooh Land decided to turn the Western Hemisphere into an irradiated wasteland, what kind of threats would you come across? Well, listing threats from the game and from reality, we can surmise that you would most likely come across super mutants, which, according to the games, can take up to 2 BMGs, 50 BMGs that is, spear boys, or the Legion, entitled bureaucrats like the NCR, armored robots, completely, totally not supposed to be zombies, also known as feral ghouls, armored opponents, potentially Winnie the Pooh soldiers, artillery shelling, explosive traps, radiation, irradiated animals, and gangs that roam the wasteland. So, with all of this in mind, what kind of materials would you need to survive day to day here? Now, as always, the goal weight is going to be around 25 pounds since I feel that is a fair amount of weight for the average man to be expected to carry. So the first thing you're going to need to tackle this sort of environment is a radiation suit. These weigh in at around 7 pounds, and will protect you from most of the invisible threats you come across in the wasteland. That being said, you don't want to wander into heavily irradiated areas still, so a Geiger counter will be in order, which comes in at around 0.4 pounds. Now normally at this point here I would recommend a pair of night vision goggles, since if you're roaming the wastelands at night, it would be helpful to have that sight advantage, especially when there's irradiated creatures that might be able to see you better than you see them. However, with your radiation suit, I don't know of any configurations that incorporate night vision with it. So for that reason, I'm going to force you to include a flashlight, which comes in at around, well, it could vary, but for the sake of this video, 1 pound. Of course, unlike in the game, you're not going to be able to just grab random food and irradiated squirrels and eat them, unless you want to get morbidly ill. So I'd recommend having your own shelter and having your own food supply, and when you're out in the wastes, I'd recommend just bringing a 2-pound canteen of water for when you get thirsty because, come on, it's a desert, you're gonna get thirsty. I would recommend taking a look at your Geiger counter before you take a drink though, because you don't want to start drinking in an irradiated area because then that defeats the whole purpose of having clean water on you. Now, a med kit could come in at around 0.6 pounds, something you could wrap around your ankle, something that's convenient because you're not just going to be able to stab your eye with a stim pack and all of a sudden you're going to be better. So you want to avoid damage, but just in case you do get scratched up, you're going to want to be able to treat that. Now, getting scratched up in a radiation suit is detrimental because now radiation can leak in. Now, this might not be the best of fix, but when you're out in the open, it might be the only choice you have to carry some duct tape with you and to just seal that hole just to prevent radiation sickness just that little bit longer. And duct tape, 1 roll would come around at 0.4 pounds. And for the last item I'd recommend you take with you, for the sake of weight at least, there's so much more I want to add in here but I won't because of that, would be a watch with some sort of compass, which would come in at 0.6 pounds, just so you could always find your way back to your camp and keep track of time in case you don't want to stay out at night, because you get some serious threats roaming the Mojave at night. This leaves us with our items weighing in at 17.8 pounds. Now comes the big fun question. What guns should you take with you in your ventures in the Mojave? Well, since this is going to be assumed taking place in North America, there's a strong argument to be made for AR-15 style rifles. After all, they are lightweight, they are modular, so you can hook them up to be long range, short range, whatever you want. And yes, while they won't be the most reliable rifle to have out in such an extreme situation, because this is presumably taking place in North America, you will find copious amounts of supplies, even if you're somewhere like Canada, where AR-15 style rifles are banned. You can still find military bases with parts that are interchangeable with AR-15s. So even though this rifle might break down on you, you'll always find replacements for it. However, I still wouldn't recommend it, and that's because of the caliber. In the Fallout universe, you're going to be going up against foes that are almost supernatural in terms of strength, i.e. the super mutants. 5.56 just isn't enough. So perhaps the longtime rival to the AR-15, the AK, should take center stage here. After all, it's going to be a hell of a lot more reliable, and the rounds pack a little bit more of a punch. However, I still feel the 7.62 by 39 round isn't going to be enough. and the AK isn't quite modular enough to suit every scenario you come across in the, apocalypse. So if only there was an AK, or at least a gun that was modular with interchangeable AK parts that was just as reliable, but could also take a higher caliber. The Galil Ace is the clear winner here, specifically the 308 variant. Because it has parts interchangeable with AKs, you don't have to worry about it breaking down because AKs are common enough within North America that you'll always find spare parts for it. What really makes this gun excel though is the modularity with the Picatinny rail system and the overall light weight of the rifle in comparison to other battle rifles. The Galil Ace 308 comes in at around 8 pounds, 9 pounds if you include some sort of hybrid optic, which I'd recommend for this scenario. But what really makes it win is the 308 caliber. In Fallout, 308 does crazy amounts of damage to every enemy, and every 308 gun in the game, I'm pretty sure, is semi-automatic. So imagine if you could unload what the game calls sniper rounds into a super mutant. Any threat you come across wouldn't be as scary because you'd have the tools to tear it apart. With this gun, you could take on the Wasteland in terms of reliability and in terms of sheer damage. For the sake of weight, I'd say only carry 2 rounds on you at a time, 2 magazines on you at a time. Each one comes with 20 rounds, and that would add 2 more pounds to your overall package. In the Wasteland, a second gun will be mandatory because enemies will come close and run at you. I'd recommend taking a Remington 870, reliable, lots of interchangeable parts, saw it down till it's about 6 pounds, and just whip it out whenever a bloatfly, feral ghoul, or even one of Caesar's Legion comes a little too close to you. The stopping power and the destructive power of the 12 gauge is amazing, so this is something that you could truly rely on. Not only is 12 gauge very common in the Mojave, but 12 gauge can also be taken, repaired, reused, reworked in a lot of ways. 12 gauge is arguably one of the most versatile rounds in existence, and in an apocalypse scenario, you want something that's common, versatile, and easy to put back together. And that's why a shotgun's going to be mandatory, even though in total with the ammo, it's going to give you around 8 pounds more. But it's worth it. Lastly, I'd recommend a K-bar survival knife, more so for utility than fighting, because let's be honest, you're not really going to charge a super mutant with a knife. Still, if you get stuck on something and need to cut your way out, chopping up food, cutting your way through things, or as just a last-ditch effort if someone's tackling you, the knife is going to be useful. With the knife included, the weapon weight's going to go up to 20 pounds. This brings up our loadout to a grand total of 32.4 pounds. Now you could chop this down and get to our goal weight and even below our goal weight of 25 pounds if you exclude the shotgun. However, I feel like in the Wasteland you need both of those guns to be versatile and be prepared for whatever threat comes your way, both human and superhuman. So the 308 Galil and the Remington 870 sawed-off or close range, I'd recommend taking both of them. Still, if you want to get around to that 25 pound mark, closer to it, chop one of them out and you'll be good. Alright guys, this has been Pliskin. I hope you enjoyed episode 3 of Survival Loadout, the Mojave Desert. I'm always happy to do something with Fallout. Take care, be safe during quarantine, survive this current Chinese crisis, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video.